Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham made a statement regarding Caitlin Clark's departure. Fans gasped, and teammates halted in shock, the kind of thing that strikes you in the chest right before your head. Can even comprehend the words, an unvarnished and poignant disclosure that has already ignited the internet and generated countless conjectures. Regarding the actual state of affairs within this squad, the first person to speak up was Sophie Cunningham. Striding forward with her signature unwavering game face in front of reporters and teammates. However, there was something different in her gaze this time, something that let everyone in the room know that whatever was. This was not going to be your typical update. Her voice was calm, yet it had that edge that only. Here a player suppressing a wave of emotion, admitting to the group that what they were going to say wasn't simple. However, it had to be spoken, and before anyone could guess, Lexi Hull, who was standing next to her, grabbed the microphone and stole over without pausing. She spoke in a quieter but no less serious tone, disclosing that Caitlin Clark would be leaving the court for the time being, not due to a transaction, not due to a conflict, and not because of the politics of the league, but rather because of what they called a purely personal issue. Refusing to provide any information and stating unequivocally that they would not be responding to inquiries. The atmosphere in the room was so tense that you could hear a pin drop as it became clear that the Fever's biggest star had vanished for some reason. No one could comprehend it completely. Outside that room, the news quickly went viral on social media, with spectators, commentators, and even competing athletes frantically trying to ascertain what might be going on behind closed doors. At this crucial juncture in the season, the shock spread well beyond Lexi Hull's comments. The announcement spread throughout the Fever's locker room in a matter of minutes. Twitter feeds glowed. TikTok videos of the press conference received millions of views, and Instagram comment sections were overflowing. Before the majority of folks had completed their lunch, fans analyzing every picture of Lexi and Sophie's expressions. Some stated they noticed Sophie's lip quiver just before she spoke, and Lexi's tone was adamant there was more being left unsaid. Some claimed to have heard Lexi's voice catch as she mentioned Caitlin's name, while others handed over the microphone, and amid all of that turmoil, speculation started to circulate more quickly than the team's public relations could keep up. Unverified rumors regarding a behind-the-scenes event, personal conflicts, and even mysterious ideas regarding an occurrence that occurred during the Fever's most recent outing. Every notion was more spectacular than the last, adding to the almost uncontrollable tempest of conjecture. Nevertheless, neither Sophie nor Lexi provided any additional information throughout, answering inquiries with courteous but forceful reactions, demonstrating their unwavering commitment to defending their teammate. A move that only increased Noor's curiosity. Regarding what specifically had motivated Caitlin Clark, one of the league's most prominent and competitive players, to take a break during a season when every game counts, some admirers now think that the warning indicators were present from the beginning. Citing recent public performances by Caitlin Clark, where her signature enthusiasm looked merely a little fainter, her interviews more circumspect, her post-game smile shorter, and her typically astute, quick, nearly evasive answers took the place of confident ones, particularly when the questions changed away from basketball, and while most at the time attributed it to weariness from the demanding WNBA schedule, subtle events that seemed like warning signs in retrospect were observed by a few ardent followers, sighing deeply before entering the tunnel following a close victory. A heated conversation between Caitlin and Sophie that was captured on video during practice that they both swiftly dismissed, as well as a mysterious Instagram story she shared late at night with. Fans are now certain that the words "focus on what matters" over a dark screen were a hint of what was to come. Furthermore, even while it's impossible to determine with certainty whether those instances were related to this abrupt departure, the chronology has turned into a fertile ground for speculations, each of which feeds the flames. Because if there's one thing that the WNBA community thrives by deciphering the backstory of each headline. Additionally, at this moment, every indication suggests that something far more significant than anyone on the exterior is simmering beneath the surface has been permitted to view. Anyone who has followed Sophie Cunningham's career will understand how serious her decision is. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of delivering this kind of news. Sophie has established her entire reputation because she is more than just a colleague. On becoming her team's star's loudest, toughest, and most unreserved protector, the type of participant who will accept a technical fall without blinking in order to send a message to anyone attempting to interfere with her team. Additionally, Sophie took on the position of enforcer as soon as Caitlin Clark joined the Fever, demonstrating by her words and deeds what anyone pursuing Caitlin on the court would have to endure. A devotion that won her admiration from supporters and condemnation from competitors, but solidified her as Caitlin's closest on-court ally, which is why the tiny trembling in her voice during this declaration carried such weight. Because this was a genuine human response from someone who has spent the entire season risking her life for the player she was now pleading with everyone to respect and give room to. You can also see how hard Sophie has been struggling in ways other than basketball, if you go back a few weeks. From publicly responding to those who made fun of Caitlin's shooting slump to criticizing what she perceived as unfair officiating that targets the root and subtly displays itself during matching warm-ups with Lexi Hall. Of solidarity prior to a stressful home game, all of which makes her appearance at the microphone tonight feel more like a personal experience than a chore. Mission: Sophie will shield Caitlin from the commotion regardless of what she is going through, even if it means standing in the crossfire herself. Lexi Hall gave the subdued gravity to the news, while Sophie brought the fire. That increased the force of the blow. Lexi is renowned for her accuracy because she isn't the kind to chase attention. On the court, her self-control in the locker room, and her propensity to prioritize her games over her job. Therefore, everyone instinctively sat up as she moved up next to Sophie and took the microphone in the middle of her statement. Erect, her voice serene but tinged with that distinct tremble of someone suppressing a surge of feeling. Additionally, that moment was even more significant for devoted Fever fans because Lexi and Caitlin had been developing a subtle but unmistakable chemistry during the entire season. The kind you see in those fleeting looks following a big play, the extra practice, and high fives. And how, following a game-winning play, Lexi consistently appeared to be among the first to greet Caitlin at half-court. Because of this, hearing her talk about Caitlin going away felt more like a personal statement than a generic one from a teammate. Loss, a change that left the team and the supporters feeling emotionally empty. Additionally, if you review recent weeks, you can see Lexi's contribution to the team's identity and scoreboard expanding, as well as her confidence in her three-point shooting line, her astute defensive play, and her widely shared pre-game fashion moments with Sophie on social media. Buzzing, all of which indicate a player going into a greater spotlight. Therefore, she should set all of that aside today and stand behind to shoulder Sophie's announcement as it reveals her true priorities. Tell a lie, because in the end, regardless of the victories, defeats, or individual honors, Lexi made it obvious. Caitlin Clark's safety comes first. The announcement was made even more unnerving by Caitlin Clark's total quiet, because in a time when athletes announce news on Twitter or Instagram before a team even, Caitlin's absence from all platforms screamed louder than any message could, according to an official statement. And it's not as though she hasn't been active recently. A few weeks prior, she was applauding lighthearted. Sophie made fun of her lack of social media presence by sharing her own behind-the-scenes photos, glances from practice, and smirking as she tells a reporter that she would rather concentrate on basketball. Not likes a statement that at the time seemed informal but now seems to have two meanings, as though she had been setting the stage for taking a step back without encouraging conjecture. Additionally, when you combine it with her most recent interviews, her responses were shorter, and you began to notice a trend. Her signature zeal, a tiny bit more dim. And any inquiry that touched on her private life was met with the kind of abrupt change of direction you only observe from a person who is defending more than just the ball. It all depicts a player carrying something heavier than the stat sheet could ever represent. Additionally, while Sophie and Lexi answered numerous inquiries during Caitlin's vacant seat seemed to be the room's unspoken focal point during the press conference. A silent reminder that whatever she's dealing with is severe enough to cause her to abandon the game she's created her life around. And now every idea, rumor and whisper from an insider is flooding that silence. Media related to sports. Beyond just one player being absent from the starting lineup, Caitlin Clark's departure has a significant influence because this rookie is the focal point of the Fever's offense and the best attraction in the league. And the cause of the season-long surge in both ticket sales and TV viewership. When word spread that she wasn't there, not only were fans responding, but the entire WNBA ecology was changing in real time, with rival teams promptly reevaluating their strategies, media organizations frantically rewriting narratives, and league executives discreetly concerned about how this would impact their playoff run and the momentum they've had since opening night. The ripple effect is equally evident inside the Fever's locker room since, regardless of how much Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, as commanders, we must admit that Caitlin's presence alters everything, including how the defense rotates. To her teammates' self-assurance when they play both with and without her, the Fever encountered an entirely new set of difficulties, both tactical and sentimental, and although the public perceives a unified front, pressure is mounting behind the scenes because each drill, pre-game meeting, and challenging possession in the fourth quarter will be influenced by the lack of their brightest star going forward. As if it weren't enough, the timing adds even more. However, just when the Fever had finally found their rhythm and achieved significant victories that were changing the course of the story, from the year of reconstruction to genuine A-plot that is currently in jeopardy as viewers, commentators, and even other players attempt to determine whether this team can survive without the key player. Nevertheless, a peculiar sensation of defiance emanates from the Fever's heart amid all of this uncertainty. Because Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull don't appear to be a team in freefall when you look closer. They are turning up to practice with the attitude of athletes who are prepared to battle harder than ever. Additional advantage, inspiring the remaining players in ways that aren't often included on the highlight reels, and using little but effective gestures to maintain Caitlin's presence even when she isn't around, from donning bracelets bearing her number, to sharing old footage of her most successful plays, making it quite evident to both admirers and detractors that they're never giving up on her or the time of year. Even though that is encouraging, it doesn't change the fact that the Fever's future now depends on something that is beyond the control of anyone outside of their small group. Additionally, the mystery surrounding Caitlin's. Everyone is wondering if this is a temporary halt because the issue has just increased the intrigue. A season-ending failure or the beginning of a more significant change in her professional trajectory. In actuality, no one knows. Not the analysts, not the admirers, and most definitely not the reporters, attempting to disrupt that since the only individuals who are able to respond. They are being silent, which may be precisely what they want for the time being. What began as an abrupt emotional. The announcement has now become one of the WNBA season's most talked about mysteries, a tale that's as much about as it relates to basketball, loyalty, friendship, and protection, and one thing is guaranteed, regardless of what happens next. Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull have made it clear that they would support Caitlin Clark no matter what tempest she's going through, leaving the rest of us to watch, wait, and speculate about how the league might change when she
returns to the court at last.